Hey guys, Craig here. Unfortunately, we're not on a trip at the moment, so welcome to my driveway. Today's job is fitting the wings for the Titan drawers that didn't turn up before our big trip. This isn't an install video for these wings, but I do have to empty the drawers and pull them apart to get those fitted, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to run through the tools, spare parts and recovery gear that we took away with us on our big trip. Also, if I've got enough time, I want to get this fully loaded like we were on our big trip and take it back over the weighbridge. I never did a final weigh-in before we took off. I knew that we were under our GVM limit, which is 4 tonne. It's had a GVM upgrade, but I never got that final number. I'd really like to know where we're sitting now that we've added the drawers and all the tools and the spare parts and the second spare wheel and the max tracks and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to get this thing fully loaded and hopefully, time willing, get it back over the weighbridge. Right, let's go. Alright, that's a lot of stuff. Chainsaw doesn't live in the car, that lives in the camper, up with the gas bottles. Pretty self-explanatory, I'll get rid of that. Not necessary, makes collecting firewood so much easier. An axe on the other hand, I think that's a must. Alright, I'll start clearing some of this stuff out. Most of this is pretty self-explanatory. I feel like I'm missing something. There we go. That is a lot of stuff. Second spare. If you're gonna store it on your roof rack, make sure you've had your Wheaties in the morning, because that thing's 45 kilos and it's a pain in the ass getting it up there. Right, so max tracks, second spare, high lift jack and long handle shovel, all self-explanatory. I'll just get these out of the way. Second spare high lift jack, we didn't use them on the big trip, but we did use the shovel and the max tracks on that boggy hole track. That was fun. We'll just start picking at this and we'll get down to the canvas bags. We'll leave them to last. So this is just another shovel, just a short handled shovel. Don't think we use that on the trip, to be honest. It's always handy to have in your toolkit though. Air compressor, that's a must. This is only a cheapie. Yeah, totally necessary, especially with the big trip that we've just done. We're always letting pressure out of the tyres and putting it back in depending on what we're on, sand, gravel, corrugations, whatever. This one here is the hose and the air gun support foot for the high lift jack. Man, there's a lot of stuff. Cordless drill, very handy. I use it quite often for stabiliser legs. In fact, that's all I adjust the stabiliser legs with is the cordless drill, but obviously it's got other uses too. And its charger, that lives in the back of the cruiser because there's an inverter which we charge the battery while we're driving. Grease gun, tyre lever, use that on the boggy hole track. Torque wrench, as far as I'm concerned, that's a must. If you're doing any sort of trackside repairs, make sure you use the correct torque settings on your wheels. Wooden blocks are always handy as well. You can use them for your stabiliser feet, for your caravan or your camper if you're on soft ground or rocky ground, to protect those plastic feet, and also to give your jack a nice firm base if you're on, say, soft sand and needing to do a wheel replacement. Tyre repair kit. I actually used this twice on our big trip. Once for ourselves and once for someone else. We pulled up to a fellow who was on the side of the road just as we were maybe 100 k's from the end of the gib. He didn't wave us down, but we stopped and we said, "You need a hand?" And he goes, "Do you have a tyre repair kit?" And I said, "Yeah, I do actually." As I was handing it to him, he goes, "Do you know how to use it?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And I plugged his tyre from him. It took 8 plugs, but we got him going again. Right, boost pack. To be honest, probably a little bit underpowered to jump the cruiser. Haven't had to yet. We've got a dual battery system with an isolator on the dash, so if the starter battery fails, we can just push that button and start the cruiser off the house battery. But I use this for like charging mobile devices or even running the GoPro on a night lapse to catch all the stars. Use it as like a power bank. Don't know if it would start the cruiser, but it's there just in case we ever have to, so why not? Stabilise legs. Should have spoken about this one first. Do not travel without a fire extinguisher, especially if you're four-wheel driving, okay? That's a must. Alrighty. Just a little bit of engine oil and some concentrate coolant. Didn't even open them, didn't have to. A couple of radiator hoses as well. The kind of thing that you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Let's get into the recovery bag. Just a general recovery kit, a couple of gloves, a winch dampening bag, winch extension rope, equalizer strap or tree protector, some spare braided shackles, recovery hitch. The back of the Robbo has actually got 2 recovery hitches in there as well, so we've got plenty of spares of them. Snatch block for a double line pull or change the angle on a winch recovery, which I haven't had to do yet. Last of all, last option is the snatch strap. You know, there's a recovery hierarchy here. You use your shovel first, and then your max tracks, and then do a tractive recovery, winch yourself out. Snatch strap, it's the bottom of the list because it can get pretty dangerous. I might have got that order slightly wrong, sorry, but anyway, let's get all this out of the way. Tools and spare parts is a hodgepodge. I'm not someone who's ever gone out and bought like a full set of really good tools. I've tended to just accumulate things over time. So I've got most tools to get me out of most situations, but it's certainly not a comprehensive list. So I'll just quickly, how am I going to do this? Let's just get this out of the way and organise this on the table here. Wow. Give me a sec. Like I said, a hodgepodge. So that's your chainsaw sharpening tool. Put that to the side. DO35 hitch. That's to tighten up your, your hitch pin. Throw that to the side. Of all things I thought I would never use on our trip, pot river gun, and I actually used it. Same goes with the soldering iron. You can do without them, but I used them, so hey, good thing I had them. Right, everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. We've got an extendable tie lever, hammers, Stilsons, variable Torx head bits, and also Allen keys, wrench, adjustable, a variety of ring spanners, flathead and Phillips head screwdrivers, just an assorted set, and pliers, scissors, and in here, dare I open it and have stuff go everywhere, why not? It's already everywhere. Okay, so like I said, real hodgepodge, an assortment of pretty much everything. You know, your sockets and your bits for your drill, little bit of everything, so more than enough to get me out of most situations. Right, let's tidy this up, get onto the other bags. Almost there. 2 bags to go. Spare fuel filters for the cruiser, and we've also got a secondary fuel filter under the bonnet, so that's what this one's for. Okay, so we got just some gloves, brake fluid, a socket to remove the castle nut on the hub of the Robbo in case I need to do a wheel bearing replacement. Also got some spare wheel nuts, and there's some wheel studs in here as well, I think. Yeah, some spare wheel studs in there. And I've got some pre-packed bearings as well, and another castle nut and some seals, some hub seals. So it's a good idea to pre-pack your bearings so you're not having to mess with all that grease on the side of the track, and just wrap it up in a plastic bag. That's what that is. So some more seals for the hubs. Right, lubricants, brake cleaner, degreaser, more lubricant. That's a good one, actually. Landcruiser, that's really good. WD-40 never goes astray, and some premium grease for the grease gun and also wheel bearings. Also got some studs and wheel nuts for the cruiser, just in case. One of those things. It's a precaution more than anything, but that's a full set of wheel studs there for the cruiser, and that's it for that bag. On to the last one. Before I run through this last one, if there's anything that you think I've missed or should have in my spares or tools kit, just pop it in the comments down below and let me know about it. So, last one, again, it's an assortment of all sorts. This is sort of mainly my electrical spare parts. So, we got terminals and fuses and odds and sods, spare wire, spare cables. Also got assorted nuts and bolts and washers and screws and all sorts of stuff. Gaffer tape, cloth tape, electrical tape, a couple of rags, zip ties, they're always handy. We've got ratchet straps, more ratchet straps, more cloth tape, rubber gloves. You never know when you need rubber gloves. Don't want to get greasy hands. More ratchet straps, more ratchet straps, more ratchet straps. Self-fusing silicone tape, you know, for an emergency hose repair, something like that. Some string, plastic repairer. It's like a putty. You knead it together and you can use it to repair sort of plastic components. Now this bag here, double-sided tape, more cable, glue, solder, more sealant, spare Anderson plugs. They're real handy actually. Oh, what else we got? Super glue, heat shrink, more electrical cable, plumbing thread tape, water thread tape, more glue, hose fittings, more solder, plumbing fixtures for our water filter to backflush, and some little plugs and things like that. That's a spare bung for our water tanks. So that's always a good spare, because if you break your water bung, you know, hit by a stone, or some of them actually crack, they've got like a little thread or a nut to tighten them up, and if that breaks, your water's all over the track. So spare bungs are a really good idea. Right, I think that's it. Like I said, let us know what you think I've missed or what you've included. Let's fit these wings, put all this back in, and then let's go to the weighbridge. Everything I just ran through, I put it across the kitchen scales. The whole lot came to 141 kilos. It's a fair bit, hey? It adds up. All fully loaded, simulating how we were packed for our big trip. There's just one thing I've got to do. I've got to pull into the bottle shop and get an extra carton of beer. We ran out of booze on the Gib and Miranda was none too pleased, so I best make sure we got the extra, hey? Alrighty, beer's in. I'm gonna fill up the full tanks right to the top and then get over this weighbridge. Now, as I said before, I've got this thing packed as though we're going away. I've got the fridge full, all those tools and spare parts and recovery gear that I ran through before, that's all been loaded back in the vehicle. The max tracks, the second spare, I'm going to be honest, I didn't put the second spare up there. It's a pain in the butt getting that up there, but I do have jerry cans up there equaling the weight of that spare. Everything, I've got the whole lot. Camera gear, Starlink, chairs, got the kids in the back there nice and quiet, which is good. Got Miranda down here. How you going, honey? That battery there is 28 kilos. And there's also a 9 kilo gas bottle and a 20 litre jerry can simulating Miranda. And I am not going to say whether that jerry can and gas bottle are full or not. Not even going there. They're not full, by the way. Hey, Miranda, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about current events. She's like a bundle of pent-up energy. She's shockingly quiet though. It's an electrifying conversation, this one. I think that's enough of that. So obviously this weigh-in is specific to us, you know, how heavy we are as passengers, what we've got loaded in the vehicle. Now I did actually weigh absolutely everything that wasn't bolted down. So that was 402 kilos. So once I go over the weigh bridge, I can just deduct that off and that will give me the new curb weight of the cruiser. That includes the fridge. Okay, I'm considering the fridge as a non-removable item. This is loaded as though we are going on a trip. I've got the tow hitch and the rock tamers installed as well. That extra cart, the beer that I just put in so we never run out again. And the chairs and the camera gear and the Starlink. Look, I've said it all before. So let's just fuel up the car, get on the weigh bridge, and then we'll talk a little bit more about our weights, eh? Guess it's a popular day to fuel up. $1.76 for diesel, $1.62 for unleaded. Whew. Running out of time here. Man, I wish the kids were always this quiet in the car. So you might be wondering why I'm going to the effort of simulating all their weights and not just using the bathroom scale and adding it on once I go over the weigh bridge. Basically, I want to get a front and rear axle weight as well. The front axle load limit is 1,870 kilos and the rear axle is 2,145 kilos for a combined GVM of 4,015 kilos. So those front and rear axle load limits can't be exceeded. So I wanted more of an accurate representation of what those axle weights are. That's why I've gone to this extent. Because believe me, it would have been much easier just adding it on. Whoa, Miss Piggy, time to go on a diet. All right, let's just weigh the rear axle only. 1.76. Okay. Yeah, 3.52. Yeah, I knew it'd be about 3.5 ton. Okay. Job done. Okay, so I just pulled over to run through some of these numbers. I'll put the screen record for the calculator up there at the moment. So we were 3,520 kilos. That's how much this vehicle weighs right now. Now, if I minus off that 402 kilos of all the stuff that I put in, tools, spare parts, passengers, everything that we load in the vehicle, everything up on the roof rack, minus that 402 kilos off, brings us down to 3,118 kilos. So that's the new curb weight of this vehicle, minus all the stuff that we fit into it. Everything's bolted in this vehicle. Okay, let's clear that off. Now, the rear axle load currently is 1760, 1.76 ton. Now we add the tow ball weight of the camper. Let's go with 230 kilos. That brings us up to 1.99 ton. Okay, so the rear axle limit is 2145 minus 1990. That gives us 155 kilos extra that we can load onto that rear axle. Now, interesting note, there is weight transfer from the front axle to the rear axle when you impose your tow ball weight. There's a load of variables that go in to how much weight transfer there is, how stiff or soft your suspension is, how much weight you got on the front, how much you got loaded in the back, where the fulcrum point is in relation to the leverage point, so your rear axle to your tow hitch. There's no hard and fast set percentage that you can add to your tow ball weight to calculate that transfer. You have to measure it, but there's no way that it's going to be 155 kilos worth. So we are well within our boundary there, which is awesome. And our front axle was what, 3,520 minus 1760 equals, it's exactly half. How's that? So basically that gives us 110 kilos that we can add to the front axle, which is never going to happen. So we are well within our GVM limit, which is awesome. 3,520 plus 230 for the camper, 3,750. There you go. It's at 265 kilos. Really good safety margin there. Righto, let's get home and unpack all this stuff. You ready, Miranda? You little bundle of energy, you? Let's go. Alrighty guys, well that's pretty much it. Bit of a funny episode, I know. But it's always a good idea to sort of go through the process to see where you are with your weights. As far as I'm concerned, it's an extremely important thing to be compliant with. Not only if you have an accident, insurance claim will probably get knocked back if you're grossly overloaded, but also, heaven forbid, someone dies in an accident and you're overweight, or someone in that scenario has an overloaded vehicle or combination, chances are you're going to go to jail, because it has happened in the past. That's not only an insurance thing, it's a safety thing. You've got your family on board most of the time, and I mean, come on, you just got to do the right thing. You've got to be safe, you've got to be compliant. Who wants to spend 20 years in jail because you killed someone? Anyway, sorry to finish on such a sour note, but like I said, hope you got something out of it. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what sort of tools and spare parts you take, or what I should add to my list, and catch you out there. See ya.